Alright guys, so we're inside DaVinci Resolve here, and I'm going to quickly show you how I set this up here. Again, I got my files here, the shots that I shot in DaVinci wide gamut with the DaVinci color log profile. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the color tab. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, or if it works, or it's probably wrong, but who cares, because this is how I experiment. This is how I basically find out the best looking footage I can possibly get out of the cell phones and using MC Pro. So I go quickly down here to the to the settings, and I go to color management, and then here it says DaVinci Resolve YRGB. I click on that and turn it to DaVinci Resolve Color Manage, and then I go to Resolve Color Manage Presets, and then I select DaVinci Wide Gamut. Let's hit save. It's gonna send it out as a Rec 709, and then this is the file right here. And of course, nothing looks like it's really different. But what I've noticed here is now if I go in and start grading, for example, let's say I want to go ahead and put on my let me go ahead and add a couple of nodes here, Alt S. And then let me go ahead and add in a Rec 709. I like to use the Area Alexa one. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on there. Boom. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to my first node, throw my saturation up. I'm gonna go ahead and put it at like 90. All right, and then the color balance is way off. So what I'm gonna do here, let me go ahead and kill that clip there. Find some white. I took my mask off to grab my mask, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click white balance, and I'm gonna click on my mask, which is right down there. And again, you can see this pinkish tone, and then that's again using that ND filter, and I had it cranked to almost max, and I notice I get that color fringing, and it's the same color fringing I also get when I'm using my newer ND filter. Let me see if I can click somewhere else and see if we can get it more cleaner. Doesn't look like it. Yep, that's just one of the downsides of using those ND filters at max. And you see we got that little bit of purple tint. So what I'll do next here then, after we got my white balance, I will just kind of click on this middle one here and just try to grade it up a little bit. And let's see here, where are my scopes? Give me my scopes. That tells us everything. You can see the scopes are really much in the middle. It's a very not a lot of contrast here. Very flat image. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of get some contrast back in here, kind of bring those down just a little bit, bring this up a little bit, and bring up my gain a little bit. And I'm just trying to make my main focus is my skin tone right here. Like, I don't want it to be too washed out. Of course, everything I noticed already, everything looks washed out. So what I'm gonna actually do is go back to this, and let's go to 100 and see what that looks like. Yeah, does a little bit, right? And then let's see if I go into and I press Alt Z, go into my log wheels, and I'm gonna kind of try to pull that dark down a little bit, the shadows. I brought a little bit of contrast back in here, and just bring up the contrast also a little bit in the highlights. So let me go ahead and make that full screen. And just that purple fringing is just horrible. Okay, so that color, that purplish color here is just horrible. I don't know. I'm not seeing any benefit in using this log profile. Let's grab a different shot and grab this shot. Again, I'll do the same process. This is what I normally do with my normal footage when I use again, Alt SS, put in three nodes, double click there, my DaVinci Resolve. You know what, actually this time let's not do that. Let's just see if we just go straight up and just bring it in here. Like, okay, Alt Z back to my wheels, and let's go ahead and just crank this up to 100. All right, and then look how flat that is. It's like super flat. It's probably one of the flattest profiles I've seen in MC Pro. Kind of stretch that out a little bit and bring that up a little bit. All right, and then I'm gonna Alt Z, jump into my log wheels and make some adjustments here. Try to pull some more contrast back into this. All right, and let's see if we even take the contrast and just, yeah, it's working a little bit. Again, I can still see it in the clouds a little bit. Now let's go ahead and set that white balance. And there's really nothing white in this shot, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to grab the cloud up there. And I noticed I just made everything that purple pinkish color again, came in the magenta. So I'm gonna go in the tint and just kind of ever so slightly Now it's looking like it's too green, right? All right, what I'm gonna try to do, something else I've learned from Kazi here. Let me add in another node, and let me go to the color tab here up at the top and go to printer lights, activate printer lights, and then let's see if I can try to dial out that color, right? So on my number pad, I can, I forgot what was magenta. Let's go to color again. Full magenta was number pad 2 and 0 to minus. So 0 and 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can just dial out some of that magenta negative. Whoa, that was like way too much, right? That was like one click. Okay, that didn't work. Let's see. That's not working at all. Hang on. Reset that. Let's just go ahead and reset. I just totally jacked it all up. Reset. And let's see if I can go. That's blue. No, we don't want that. There's green. No. There's red. No. Man, it's just not looking. Yeah, I just don't know about this setup here. Let me go ahead and finish trying to. We got some contrast in here. Let me go ahead and reset this node just to undo that. And then one other thing I like to do. Open. Let's go to glow. This adds in a little bit of more contrast. And let's drag that onto there, into my settings, and then I take this up, and then change this to soft light. All right, ooh, that added a lot more contrast in here. Go to my global blend. It's at 100%. See, this is 0. That actually added a lot of contrast, even at 100. Even if I back this off, like just a little bit, right? I'm liking the way that looks. Let's go full screen, see what that looks like. Again, you can see all that discoloration here. Again, that's just the ND, and plus it's 8-bit. I'm just breaking the image apart, but that's not bad. I mean, this shot is actually not that bad compared to the other shot where I had the ND at max. So this one actually looks pretty cool. Let me go ahead and save that by right-click, grab Steal, and then jump into my gallery. There's the image. So let me go ahead and load in one more image and just take a look at it and see what else we can do. Back to the color tab. Now that I've got this grade here, this is going to help us. A mouse click, press the middle mouse button, boom, it adds it to there. And let's make this bigger. And we don't need to see that anymore. There. Make this even bigger. So that's actually not looking bad right there. Full screen, look at that. Straight out. I haven't even did any white balance on it. That's actually looking pretty cool. It does have a little bit of a film look, which I guess because it's like this blue tint I'm seeing a lot here. And again, because of the ND filter, look at the the unevenness here. Like it's dark here and it's light here and it's dark up here, and that was just I actually had that ND too high. Like really should have backed it off. Again, and that's why at just the dynamic range, we don't have a lot of dynamic range from lights to dark with our 8-bit footage. Even 10-bit on the cell phone, yeah, you can get a little bit more, but nothing crazy. Now, like if I was, for example, if I was to bring in like some of my data, some of my shots from my Canon EOS M, which is 14-bit raw DNG files, okay, and now if I drag that in here, it just totally acts different, right? First of all, I bring it in, this is straight already coming out of the camera raw. Now, when I go to the color tab, there's some options you don't get here when you're using the standard, when you're not using raw. So if I use raw, I can go to projects here, I can go to clip, and then here, oh, you know what? Because I have it set at the DaVinci Resolve wide gamut. Typically, I don't, but even just with the wide gamut, the way it's set here, for example, let's see how much we can move shadows. Look at all that. Look at all that we can get back in the shadows. Like you can see and make it full screen. Look at all this data here that you can see, you know, which we couldn't see before. That's just to show you how much I can push the image with the raw data. And then let's, for example, reset that back, and let's go opposite, lift, and then even gain. Look at the gain. And look how much highlights I can save. Check this out. Look at the highlights. Look at this area here. Look at all this that I can save. Whew. And then if I turn the highlights on highlight recovery, and then I can even get more highlights. Look at that. Look at that. Let me go back to before. Yeah, reset. Again, if I go to highlight recovery, tag that, and then I pull this highlights down. Look at this. Just look at that highlight right there. How much data I got in there I can save. And even pull more down. Check it. That's just the power of using the DNGs or the raw versus, you know, our 8-bit log profile. And these are not true 100% log. They're like emulation logs. Like they're like fake logs. I mean, they work good, but we just don't have the power that we do when you do like truly something like a raw image or a raw DNG file. So let's finish this up here. Let's take a look at this one here. Clip again. I think it looks better without doing the area lux preset LUT on there, Rec 709 lux. So just going raw like this. This is a super flat image, man. That's the flattest, one of the flattest, again, using the DaVinci Resolve. So I'm just gonna do one note here. If I crank up the saturation to 100, okay, we got my wheels. We definitely need to bring them down, right? So like we bring it down a little bit there, and then bring this up a little bit, and then gamma, and then gain up. And then what I'll probably do here, jump into my logs, Alt Z. The log is just gonna control just the shadows. It's not gonna move. See how the shadows just pull down? Boom, like that. I actually go a little bit, doesn't have to go all the way. And then I'm gonna go ahead and crank on that contrast, bring some contrast back in there, and a little bit more in the mids, right? White balance. Let's grab my white balance. I grab my picker. This flower was white. Just grab that. Boom. And that didn't even look like it did anything, right? Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I didn't hit it. Okay, that actually looks okay. Not too bad there. Missed the focus on this shot. But that's not looking too bad. And then what I will do again is it looks so decontrast, like so flat. So to bring some more contrast in here, I'll go open again, drag my glow on there, and then crank that sucker up, crank it up, turn the composite type to soft light, and then boom, there's some of our contrast back in there. Look before, after that brings in. Let's go full screen. I can see a little bit of that discoloration of that pink, but hey, it's coming off a cell phone. I mean, that's not too bad, even though I missed the focus on this shot. That's not too bad. And again, if I wanted to just grab this, still save it, and then load in that next clip. Where was the bridge shot? Here was the bridge. And then just right click on there, middle mouse button. This one, you know what, let me undo it. Let's go ahead and just do this one raw. Look at all this data here we kind of lost with that. So again, white balance, there's really nothing to go off of white balance here on this. The clouds are not truly white there, but hey, that's close. And then what I'll do, I don't think it saved it. There it goes. I got a little bit there. Again, change that to wheels, bring down the lift, bring up the gamma a little bit, bring up the gain just a skosh, and then jump into my log wheels, Alt Z, and then try to bring this down a little bit more. Look at it's already breaking right here. Look at all this noise we can see there. And I think that's pretty much it there. Saturation, where's it at? There we go. I want to go 100. And look at that, yuck, it's all green there. Seeing a lot of noise there, digital noise. And then drop the glow on there. Let me give a second note, Alt S, drop on the glow. Again, crank the shine threshold and the spread. Change the composite type to soft light. And there it is, before and after. Yeah, that image is not the best. So you can see here. Oh, now you can really even see the fringing that's happening from the ND filter. See this little rainbow here on the edge here? Yeah. But hey, it is what it is. So my overall conclusion, I'm not sure. I've gotten better looks out of MC Pro using, like, you know, what is a Cineon, the Cineon Gamut, or just wide gamut with Cineon log profile. But I wanted to try this out because I saw this setting here at the top that I saw Kazi do, and they switched it to that, and I noticed that this says DaVinci wide gamut. I was like, wow. So I wanted to see if that worked out. It's a really flat profile, but I don't know. I'll keep experimenting with it and see what else I can do with it. So hope this helps out, guys. Again, Patreon folks will have access to all these clips if they want to practice on it. If you guys want to practice on it, take a look at that down in the description. Website's also down there. Patrick Levar, keep filming. It's the only way you'll get better. And doing stuff like this, experimenting, that's how you basically push your limits and find out what we can do as far as, you know, maximizing our image coming out of the cell phones. Catch you in the next one.